Cybersecurity takes a lot of work to get into. And today I'm going to be talking about the blue team of cybersecurity, specifically the CCD. Now you may be asking yourself, what is the CCD and how do I actually get into cybersecurity in the defensive blue team space? This is a question that comes to me a lot with people who are trying to get into the industry and want to get into that defensive security piece of the industry. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the CCD certification from CyberDefenders and exactly how you can use this certification and the skills that you'll learn from the coursework to get yourself a job in cybersecurity. Now, with lots of different roles in the blue team space of cybersecurity, there's hundreds of different roles that you could potentially move into. And the reason that I've chosen to talk about the CCD is because this certification gives you a lot of knowledge to get yourself started in cybersecurity and actually do the job. The coursework covers all sorts of different things, from malware analysis, incident response, security operations center, and everything in between. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the coursework and what's available as part of the CCD that I truly believe will actually help you guys to get a job in cybersecurity. Let's jump over to the computer and take a look. Now, just to give you some background information on the CCD and CyberDefenders, I'm going to read off their website here what they've listed as their main mission statement. So CyberDefenders is a blue team training platform for SOC analysts, threat hunters, security blue teams, and DFIR professionals to advance cyber defense skills. From this mission statement, we can see that this company is dedicated to teaching people in the defensive security space. This is all that they do. They focus very heavily on cybersecurity defense. And once we have a look at their coursework in a second, you'll see exactly what I mean by this. Now, I'm just here on the reviews page because I think it's important to outline some key points here. We can see that professionals from top companies like IBM and Microsoft have actually taken this certification. Up the top left here, we can also see that the SANS Difference Maker Award was awarded to CyberDefenders for the Team of the Year. This course has also been delivered at places like Black Hat and different types of conferences, specifically in cybersecurity, of course, which is absolutely fantastic to see. It really outlines that this company and this certification is absolutely targeting the cybersecurity market, but not only targeting this specific market, but also integrating themselves with these different types of conferences to understand the people who are actually taking the certifications. This is a good thing because it outlines that this company is actually interested in the industry. They're quite passionate about the people who are in cybersecurity and how they can benefit from doing a certification just like this. We can see here this review from Sai Dinesh Kondetti at Microsoft. He's a security engineer working at Microsoft. Has posted here on LinkedIn that he is extremely happy and proud to share that he has successfully completed the CyberDefender certification, the CCD. There's not only Sai, there's also Powell, who is a GIC advisory board member at IBM. There's V. Widman, who is a SOC analyst at F5. Lucas Matthias, who's a SOC analyst at Kaspersky. Manos, who's a senior security analyst at Accenture. As well as Mohammed here, who is an offensive security engineer at Amazon. Now, you may be asking me, why is it important that I'm outlining these people who have reviewed and actually undertaken the CCD? These people are from large companies. These are well-known names within the IT industry and sometimes even outside the IT industry. If these people believe that this certification is going to help them progress in their career, why can't it help you? This is an important point to outline here because I truly believe that this certification is going to help you progress in your career. And I can back up that claim by showing reviews here from people who have actually done it. Okay, let's take a look at who this certification is actually for. You may be thinking, oh, I don't think this is for me. It's not something that is going to help to push me in my career. And I wanted to outline who exactly this is designed for. We'll start with the introduction here. It says, the CCD is a vendor-neutral, hands-on cybersecurity training and certification. It is designed to prepare the next generation of SOC analysts, security blue teams, threat hunters, and DFIR professionals. Further down on the page, it says the training is for security analysts, SOC analysts in blue teams, threat hunters, digital forensics, and incident response professionals. If you're interested in getting into this and doing this certification, the prerequisites are that you have a solid understanding of Windows and Linux operating systems, solid research and problem solving skills, and familiarity with basic system administration, networks, and security concepts. A little bit more about this certification. We have 2 exam vouchers included with your purchase of the exam. Once you've completed the exam, it is manually reviewed by the instructors. The exam is a 48-hour, 100% practical and evaluates your skills across following domains, which are threat hunting, perimeter defense, disk forensics, memory forensics, and network forensics, those items that I outlined just before. You'll also use Elastic SIEM to hunt threats, investigate real-world intrusion, create an incident timeline, and perform forensic analysis on different attacked artifacts. Now, it's interesting that they use Elastic as a SIEM because the ELK stack is actually, there's a lot included in Elastic. You could compare this to something similar like Splunk, for example, which runs on a similar sort of premise. This sort of information is not only valuable to know when actually trying to get into these types of jobs, but also it's going to help you to have some prior knowledge of Elastic before undertaking this exam. You can run up an Elastic server on Google Cloud, AWS, pretty much any of the cloud hosting providers out there, if you want to practice a little bit before actually going in and taking this coursework. If we take a look here at the CCD certification syllabus, we can see that there are 9 modules. Module 1 is on security operations, SecOps fundamentals. Module 2 is on perimeter defense and email security. Module 3 is all about threat hunting. Module 4, forensics evidence collection. Now this is a fun one. Staying on the forensics trend, we've got Module 5, which is disk forensics, Module 6, which is memory forensics, Module 7, which is network forensics, and then finally onto Module 8, which is incident response, and finally Module 9, which is malware analysis. Taking a look at the CCD practical labs, we can cover a lot of the stuff that we talked about earlier and the different types of hands-on practical information that you are going to obtain by undertaking this coursework and completing the exam. As we can see here, this covers pretty much every single area of the blue team in cybersecurity. If you're looking for knowledge on defensive security within the industry with practical hands-on learning, have a look at this list of practical labs that you get to undertake as part of this coursework. It is extremely in-depth. You're going through Microsoft Defender for Cloud, Nessus, playing around with Shodan, Windows forensics, USB forensics, Velociraptor, Elastic SIEM, of course, we just mentioned, and detecting phishing with things like canary tokens. Having a look at the blue team practice tools, this list is absolutely insane. I'm actually mind blown at how much information is packed into this course. Imagine listing on your profile that you have hands-on experience with all of these tools. You're throwing this on your resume, for example, under technical skills that you have obtained. You've got AnyRun, Arsenal Image Mounter, Belkasoft, Canary Tokens, Kaku Sandbox, Microsoft Sentinel. I mean, it really has quite literally everything included in this coursework. It's insane. Now, if you're currently working in a security operations environment, you're currently working in cybersecurity defense. A lot of the time with these types of jobs, you have a training budget that you can use to undertake different types of certifications. Now, if you were wanting to take this certification and you want to talk to your boss or your manager and say, I want to take the CCD, there is some information here on exactly how to propose this to your manager. If we have a look here at how will this training help your organization, we see that it is applicable, realistic, and can be applied to most organizations, specifically within the SIEM side of things, as well as obviously the forensics and everything else that's included. It's a lean program, which means it achieves better results with minimal amount of effort, which means you can get back to doing your job after completing this certification. It is also impactful. It has more noticeable impact on security and significantly enhances overall security posture for the organization that you're working for. Acquiring skills that most defenders can apply to get security off the ground and maintain a reasonable level of cyber hygiene. Perfect. Now, I just wanted to highlight one more point here, which is what is the passing score? They've listed the passing score as 70% as the minimum score to pass the CCD certification. This is actually a pretty good percentage of pass, because as you would know, most certifications out there are asking for 80%, sometimes even higher. Getting straight into the coursework, learning the skills, and then taking the exam, which you have 2 tries for, by the way, and going in at a passing rate of 70% is absolutely perfect. What they want here and what this shows is that they want you to obtain the skills that you learn from this certification and to be able to apply that to the organizations that you're working for or hoping to working for in the future. If you don't get it the first time, that's perfectly okay. Take it a second time, it's included. Okay, so we're diving deep here on the CyberDefenders CCD course, and I just wanted to open a few of these sections of the coursework to show you exactly what is included in this training. We can see here from the course goal that it aims to jumpstart and empower those on their way to becoming the next generation of SOC analysts, cyber defenders, blue teamers, and security engineers. Like I just said, this is a heavily focused blue team certification. There's a line here that I really like, which is that security is not a spoon-fed field, and this is designed to help you acquire the technical and non-technical skills that will allow you to navigate the field professionally and smoothly. Now, this is something that you don't actually see a lot from certifications or, certification vendors who are promoting their certifications, because it's more about, let's just do the certification and, happy days, put it on your resume. This is designed to actually give you those skills from the day-to-day job. Now, I'm just going to go through some of the headers here on the left to describe a little bit about what is actually included here. So first we have the course navigation, which gives you an outline of what you're about to learn, as well as the course introduction, which is more of a deep dive into that information. We then have the security operations fundamentals, incident response, perimeter defense on email security, forensic evidence collection, disk forensics, memory forensics, network forensics, threat hunting, malware analysis, and then finally the exam. Now, if we get started looking into what's included in the security operations fundamentals, we can have a look that there is quite a lot of information included here. We've got security operations fundamentals in a CIA triad, security operations center overview, protecting businesses with efficient SOC, SOC deployment models, dedicated versus virtual. And this is actually, before we go on, something that does get asked quite a lot is, should I set up a virtual SOC or a dedicated SOC? And this actually gives you a really good understanding of what is the difference between the two and why you should choose one or the other when setting up a SOC for an organization. There's also some information here like deploying a SOC, when to consider SOC components like the tools and technologies of different types of SOCs, firewalls protecting communication and data, network-based intrusion and prevention systems or NIDS or NIPS, host-based intrusion and prevention systems, OSSEC HIDs, and OSSEC architecture and configs overview. Now, if I click on the OSSEC detect web shells section of this course, we can see here on the right a preview of the information that is provided as part of this coursework. We can see detect web shells dropped in the Apache root folder, where it's an actual piece that you get to practice with. OSSEC comes preloaded with out-of-box rules to check for SSH brute force, watch specific directories, and even monitor kernel-loaded drivers. To utilize one of these predefined rules, we'll look at one of the already located in var OSSEC rules, ossecrules.xml, and you can see a preview of this content here that you can zoom in on. So it gives you an example here, like you can cat to this location into this XML file and grep syscheck new entry to get some output from that XML file. It then explains what it's actually talking about. So it says, did you see that? We just copied then pasted the rule from OSSEC rules XML to local rules.xml with a slight modification in the rule config. All you need to do is change the level from 0 to 11 and override it to yes. Now there's some actual tasks to do here. If we scroll down, it says to restart the OSSEC server, to create a test file, and to visit the OSSEC UI to see the result. There is sections on each of this to participate in and to actually get some hands-on knowledge from. This is not an entirely text-based coursework as well. There is also videos here. This one is 5.5 minutes long to go through and to get an understanding of how to detect web shells. This complements the information that was on that previous section, the text section, where you can sort of watch the video, go back to it, and get an understanding of what you've actually just done as part of that small lab piece of the detect web shells section. That's not it though. We then have labs on detecting persistence and privilege escalation, web application firewalls. Going down further on this list, we've got endpoint detection and response, web proxy servers, understanding vulnerability management processes, Nessus for vulnerability assessments, Nessus feature overviews, Nessus performing unauthenticated advanced scan, detecting log4shell, of course our old favorite log4shell, exporting detailed reports out of Nessus, and then moving on from Nessus into security information and event management, or SIEM, core components of a SOC. We've got information here as well on automating security incident response with SOAR, Microsoft Sentinel SIEM overview, Microsoft Sentinel SIEM how to query stored logs, exploring workbooks, exploring analytics, how to investigate an incident, and then moving on from Microsoft Sentinel into the malware analysis section, deploying honeypots. There's information here on canary tokens, understanding cloud computing, threat intelligence, mitigating and defending. The list seriously goes on and is very much targeted towards those blue team security roles. Now, just to give you an example of how much content there is in this coursework, we just had a look at the security operations fundamentals section. We haven't had a look at incident response, perimeter defense, forensic evidence collection, all of those other topics that I mentioned before that have, 35, 15, 31, 61 different pieces of information to learn about when having a look at this coursework. Now, this is why I'm super happy to promote this course, because it is so in-depth. There is so much information here that you can come back to, practice labs on, and watch videos about to really give you that hands-on experience and knowledge that you need when going in for a job as a security operations center employee, or incident response, malware analysis, forensics, whatever it is in the blue team space. This course has that information and the skills to learn from it. Now, from what we can see from that coursework that we've just gone through, there is so much information that you can get started with to help you actually get a job and learn the skills that you need to get a job in cybersecurity, specifically in the defensive space. If you'd like to get started with this certification, hit the link in the description for a 10% discount off the coursework. In an age where certifications and skills, as well as the experience, is such a pivotal piece of getting into this industry, this is the main reason why I'm promoting this certification and everything that you can learn from it. If you were to tie this certification in with an experience piece on your resume, I have no doubt that you would be put above the rest of the people who are applying for jobs when actually getting that job. This is something that is extremely important when you actually want to get a job, because when you go to the interview and you have to talk about the skills that you've learned, the certifications that you've done, this is where you would talk about the stuff that you've learned in the coursework and the labs of the CCD. This certification is absolutely awesome, and it is the main reason why I wanted to talk about it in this video, is because I truly believe that this will help you to get that job. If nothing else, the skills that you will learn from this coursework, and it is quite in depth, there is a lot to go through, will absolutely help you and your profile to stand out above the rest. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.